Hi, my loves. I thought it would be nice to just make a little movement video, and frickin' who doesn't love to move their body? So let's start. We're gonna start in all fours, hands and knees, please. And taking the hands as wide as the mat or as wide as your shoulders, whatever makes more sense. And the hands and the wrists can land ahead of the shoulders. We want to have an opportunity for the belly to get long. And the hips can root back and wide, and just begin to slide your ribs side to side. And the top of the foot ever so gently pressing down and dragging back. And we sort of slide long and lengthen. It's almost like the hips are pulling back as the ribs slide wide and forward. Sort of leaning into this tone in the belly, this extension. And begin to pulse wide to the right side. Next, pulse wide, drop your chin along the chest, roll through the back. And taking it all the way to the other side, slide your hips back and pulse wide to the left side. Little pulses, opening into that rib side line. Next, pulse wide, drop your chin along your chest, round through the upper back. Really feeling that fullness as you roll through center, and then slide your hips back. Pulsing long, lengthening into the right side one more time. Pulse wide, roll the chin along the chest, press down the mat, really fill through the shoulder blades, broaden the back. And taking it to the other side, slide wide and extend, lengthen through the left line. Roll through center. Slide your hips back, lift the chin and pulse forward and back. Slide your hips way back wide, peel the left knee open to the side, place your paw to the mat. Kickstand the right foot out just a little bit. Slide your hips back and wide, rise, lift, lengthen like you're peeling open on the left side. Little pulses here. Almost finding this rotation. We slide the hips wide and then rotate the right ribs up towards the left. Lengthening through the belly. And take your left hand to your right ribs, slide your hips back and wide, rotate your ribs up, little twist. And use your left paw, dig down, drag back, connect into your butt, slide wide, rotate the ribs, twist it up. Less is more, just that gentle opening. It's almost like a little lift and twist. One more here. Big stretch, reach your left arm long, lengthen. And take a big pulse, stretch open. Left hand to right forearm. Eyes to the ground, curl your chin into the chest. Resist your hand from your forearm, broaden through the back. Slide your hips wide, let the belly get soft and rotate your ribs into this twist. And do that again. Sit back, curl in. Chin to chest, resist the hand from the forearm, broaden through the back. Slide your hips back and wide, rotate, ribs up towards the sky. Big stretch, twist it open. One more time, sit back, curl in. Broaden through the back, feel the stretch. Slide the hips back and wide, rotate up into your twist. Pulse, lengthen, open, stretch. And then release your hand, release your knee, come back to all fours, hands and knees. A couple of undulations of the spine, slide your hips back and wide. Feel the length and tone through the belly, and then curl forward, wrapping through the shoulders, chin to chest. Feeling the spine articulate in that soft and flowing way. Find some stillness. Walk your hands wider than your mat. Slide forward to the top of the thigh, the place that does not feel like the cap of your knee, but rather the beginning of your thigh. Hamstring, hug the heels to the bum. Get your butt up and wide behind, so versus no collapse here. You want to get that butt way back wide. Press down the mat, really broaden through the back. Hold the fullness through the shoulder blades. Keep the crown of the head reaching forward and the hips rooting back and wide. Come down halfway, elbows pull out to the side, and then lift back up. Up and down we go, elbows wide, heart stays full, crown of the head reaches forward. And keep that hamstring hug, heels towards the bum, root your hips back wide, lengthen into the belly. And couple more. Walk your hands back onto the mat. Slide your hips back, child's pose. You can resist your hands back energetically towards your shoulders. Feel this lengthening in the back line of the arm, into the armpit, into the shoulder. And take a big full breath here. And roll your spine forward. And find neutral spine, knees underneath of the hips, the wrists ahead of the shoulders. A little grippiness in the hand, elbows externally rotating wide, pulse forward and back. Sliding your hips back wide and high, keep the belly long, and the heart presses full as we reach the heart forward. Slide the hips back, and pulsing forward and back. And slide your hips way back, peel the right knee open to the side, place your paw to the mat, and kickstand the left foot out just a little bit. Hips slide back and wide, rise, lift, lengthen, open into the right side like you're peeling open. Little bit by little bit, hips slide wide. Pause, pressing down, dragging back. It's like we can think about the belly softening into this gentle rotation as we rise, lift, and lengthen into the right side body, right side line. Chin is lifted, throat is open, holding that length in the central channel. And take your right hand, connect to the left ribs, slide the hips way back, and begin to rotate your ribs up. Little twist. Rooting the hips back, finding the roots, and then isolating the twist. We get this little lift lift and twist. Take one more. Release your arm, press forward and long, stretch. Hips glide back wide, big reach, open. And connect your right hand to your left forearm. Sit your hips way back, curl your chin into your chest, rounding through the upper back. Resist your hand from your forearm, broaden through the back. Slide your hips wide, peel open, little revolution, twist the ribs, rise into the right side. Sit back, curl in, chin to chest, broaden the back. Resist your hand from your forearm, feel the stretch. Slide your hips wide, rotate your ribs up, left ribs up towards the sky. One more time, slide back, curl in. Resist your hand from your forearm, broaden the back. Slide the hips back and wide, twist it up. Big full breathing into that stretch, into that extension. And then release. Hands and knees. And press down the mat, really broaden through your back. Slide the hips back and wide, tuck your toes, lift your knees, rise up. Walk your feet as wide as your hips. Nice big bend into the knees. Slide the hips back wide and high. Feel the length in the belly. Wrists ahead of the shoulders, press down, broaden the back. Elbows externally rotate wide, hold that fullness in the heart. Couple of pulses forward and back. Feel the connection of your paws pressing down and out to the side, maybe a gentle drag back. Externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees twist to the left. Bend your knees, slide your hips wide, rise, lift and lengthen through the left side, little pulses. Take a big stretch, reach your left arm forward and long. Keep your arm pressing just ahead of the shoulder. Keep the heart full, broad all sides. Chin is lifted, throat is open. Root your hips back and wide, peel it open. Take one more big stretch. Back through center. A couple of pulses forward and back, and the hips stay high and wide. Little shift of your hips side to side. And think about like winding into the belly here. Externally rotate the left hand, toes and knees twist right. Bend the knees, root the hips wide, rise, lift, lengthen into the right side, little pulses. Breathing into that open space, open lift, big rainbow shape. And take a big stretch, reach your right arm forward and long. Keep the arm pressing just ahead of the shoulder. Hips slide wide, lengthen the belly, big press, stretch, open, one more. And then come back through center. Wide knees takes you all the way down, child's pose. Connect your toes and melt the heart down. And take one more breath. Connecting into the hand, roll your spine forward. Fix your knees underneath of your hips. Maybe walk the knees forward if that feels good. We're going to just Land on high knees, hips slide wide, lift your heart high. Maybe fix your pants. Reach your arms forward, press them ahead of the shoulders, just forward of the shoulders. Root the hips back and wide, connect the top of the foot, press down. Use that to help drag your hips back, and then begin to slide, glide your ribs side to side. Pressing to reach, you feel your ribs floating and gliding and opening side to side. Almost like a little airplane, floating, flying airplane. Okay, reach your arms ahead of your heart and then sweep the hands to catch both sides of the skull. Elbows hug narrow. Press your head into your hand, let your neck get long. Soften your shoulders. Slide your hips wide and lift, lengthen, open your heart up to the sky. Stretch out. Hips slide wide, big reach, open up. Exhale, sits you back. Inhale, lifts you up, stretch high. Sit back and lift it up. Okay, sit the hips back a little bit. We'll kickstand both feet out to the left. Connect your hand or your knuckles, some piece of your hand-ish, to your left heel, so left hand to left heel. Hips slide back and wide, press down to rise up, lift up and arc over to the left side. So we extend through the right line, big reach up, press down to lift up, hips slide wide, soft belly, stretch open. The best stretch, open it up, head presses into the hand, let the belly get long. Where can you soften? Big breaths as you rise up. One more big stretch. Back through center, release your arms forward and cross your wrists. Take a couple of slides of your ribs side to side. You could even roll low, chin to chest, sort of feeling into that back heart. Shoulder blades broad and expansive. And take it up a little higher, gliding side to side. Come back through center. Lift your hips and just shift the feet, kickstand both of them to the right. Slide your hips back, connect your right hand, your knuckles or your hand to the heel, whatever feels right. We're going to keep the hips rooting wide, lengthen through the belly, connect your left hand behind the head, elbow hugs into the cheek. Press the heel down, rise, lift, lengthen into the side. Hips slide wide, big stretch, reach up high. Head presses into the hand, belly is long. And keeping the hips tacked back, soft belly rising upwards. Press down to lift up, big stretch, soft shoulders, soft neck. Take one more stretch. Okay, I'm back through center. Give yourself a big hug, feet right behind you, and just take a couple of little rolls with the ribs. And switch your roll, going the other direction. Release your hands forward and down to the mat. All fours, hands and knees, press fullness into the back. And slide your hips back and wide, tuck your toes, lift your knees, rise all the way up. And take a couple of pulses forward and back, hips high and wide. Pause, press down and out, reach the heart forward. And take a couple of shifts of your hips, side to side, little wind through the belly. Okay, find some stillness. Really press the mat away and hold that fullness, that expansion through the back of your rib cage. Crown of the head reaches forward. The hips rooting high and wide. We're going to shift the weight to the left side, right leg. Lift straight back behind in a square leg or a knee at a 90 degree. Energetically, we get this hamstring hug, heel to the bum. And the knee is almost like pulling down as the hips root high and wide. We're going to kick that right foot strong away like you're kicking a heavy box and reach your heart forward and through, moving into like a plank. And then bring it back in, knee hugs in, hips high and wide. And kick long, stretch long, press down the mat, fill into the back. And then bring it back in, knee hugs in, hips high and wide, press down the mat. 2 more big stretch, kick long, reach forward, holding that fullness in the back, press down the mat, crown reaches forward, and bring it in, knee hugs in, hips high and wide, press down the mat. Last time, big kick strong, crown reaches, heart stays so full, and then bring the knee in, send your hips back high and wide. Okay, take your heart forward, carry your right foot through, stepping into high lunge. A dynamic lunge, so the stance is relatively short. Deep bends into the knees, slide the hips, slide the hands to the tops of the thighs. Okay, so here we want the hips behind the heart just a little bit. So you can take your hands to your hips and little flip. You're welcome to take your hands to your bum and catch the bum, spread wide, and working your right leg into extension, begin to pulse forward and back. You can keep your hands at your bum, you can keep your hands at your hips, or bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. Yeah, the energy is rooting the right femur back into the hip socket and keeping the hips relatively parallel. Yeah. Belly is long, the chin is lifted, and the heart stays full. Cool. Sweep your arms to catch both sides of the skull, elbows narrow. Bend the knees forward, slide your hips wide, hold your roots, lift your heart to the sky, open up. Knees forward, hips slide back, pause, stay connected, rise it up. One more, knees forward, hips slide back. Lift it up, lengthen, open up. Okay. And keep your right foot connected. Keep the length in the belly, head pressing into the hand. We're going to take a little spring pulse into tree pose. You can connect your foot to your shin or to your thigh. The left knee is going to stay a little bit narrow to help the groin stay hollow, spacious. Bend into your knees, slide your hips wide, and begin to just find that length. Option to stay more static here, option to find a gentle root and rise. The knee moves forward, the hips slide back, big rise, lift, lengthen. Notice your right toes, keep them connected. Head presses into the hand, let the neck get long, soften your shoulders. Breathing fullness into your heart, each rise up high. Take one more pulse. Okay, coming back to a neutral spine. Really keep your hands as they are. Left leg is going to sweep all the way back behind into a zigzag pose. So the left foot lands to the right, just past the right side of the mat. And a bend the knees wide, slide the hips back, lift up, lengthen the belly. Hips slide back, knees wide, lift it up, open up. 2 more, hips back wide, knees wide, lift it up. And last one. Release your arms, reach them forward. Pressing the arms ahead of the shoulder, lift your chin and soften your shoulders. Take a little spring cross ankle, crossing the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Press your hands down, lift your heart high, lift your chin. Option to stay with your arms pressing wide, just holding that fullness. Option to bring your hands to the base of your thighs, just sort of nuzzled into the groin here. Little root and rise pulse. Even option to sit deep. Slide the hips wide and take your hands to the shin. Resist your heart forward as the hips root back. Everywhere you go, you think about holding that length and openness through the belly and the fullness in the heart. Big full breathing. Little pulses are here if you like. Yeah, one more. Cool. You're gonna lift the heart up high, press your arms wide, cross the left leg all the way over. Squish your knees together, slide the hips back, gentle seat. Cross your right arm on top of the left, give yourself a hug. First stop is here. Slide, glide your ribs side to side, connecting into any organic movement that feels intuitive to you. Second stop is a full arm bind, eagle arms. And connect your hands. Elbows press forward and up just a little bit, broaden through the back, and the same idea, sliding the ribs side to side, connecting into intuitive movement. Maybe you like to round into the upper back, feel your ribs float up off of the lower back. Okay, one more moment. Coming back to a neutral spine, release your arms. Kick your left heel to your bum, heel press. So connecting this resistance, heel to the hand to catch the back line engagement. And we'll catch the outside edge of the ankle. Bend into your knee. The left knee hugs forward, slide the hips back. Reach your right arm forward, lift up the chin. Option to stay, option to find a rebound here, coming down halfway or all the way. Your hamstring will tell you when it's time to kick into the hand to lift back up. So a little hinging at the hips, keeping the torso pretty much static, minus the hinge at the hips. And keeping the right femur rooting back into the hip socket as we hinge forward. Toes connected. Yeah-yo. Next time you come down halfway, we'll hold. With grace and control, release your left ankle. Hug your knee in. Root your hips back and wide. Belly stays long. Hands down to the mat. Press down the ground. Eyes forward. Take some hitch kicks. These can be low. And just shifting the hips side to side. These can get a little higher, landing light with a paw, keeping the knees contained, pressing down the ground, eyes forward. These can get a little higher and lighter. Knees contained at that 90-degree, moving with the hips side to side. Land back, hands and feet. Little pedal of your heels. Pulse forward, back. Shift your hips side to side. Lower your knees down to all fours. Untuck the toes, undulate your spine, find some rolls. Thread the needle, right arm underneath of the left. You can just let your right head land to the mat. Option to keep your left hand just as it is here. Option to wrap it around your back. Maybe you have space to catch the inside edge of the right thigh. A little twisty bind here. Deep, full breathing, hips high. And take one more full breath. And unwinding your bind if you caught one. Left hand plant strong. Unwind that arm and take some rib rolls, big barrel rolls. And switch your roll, go the other direction. And finding the fullness through your back, the isolation, the rotation of the ribs. And we'll thread the needle other side, left hand threads underneath of the right. You're welcome to keep your right hand planted to the ground just as it is. You can also take your right hand to wrap around behind the back to catch the inside edge of the left thigh if that's in your reach. A little bind, wherever you are, breathe. Unwind your bind if you've caught one. And plant your hand back down to the mat. Press yourself all the way back up. Can roll forward onto the top of the thigh. Lift up the heels, hamstring, hug the heels towards the bum. Connect into that extension in the belly. You're welcome to stay here. You're welcome to pull back or even come forward into a little meow and back. Curl in. Soften the belly. Let the belly sink. Open. One more. Sit the hips back, curl chin in. And then let the belly soften. Hold the fullness in the heart. Yeah. And then tuck your toes. Send your hips back up to the sky. Little pedal of your heels. Okay, externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees, twist left. Couple pulses here, lengthening, opening into the left side. You can take a big stretch with your left arm. You can take your left hand to catch your right forearm, slide your hips wide, spiral open. Bend, root back into your twist. Back through center. A couple of pulses forward and back. Externally rotate the left hand, toes and knees twist right. Bend, slide wide, lift. Option to stretch your right arm long, lengthen, big stretch. Option to catch your hand to your forearm, slide your hips back and wide, root back into your twist, open up. One more pulse. Come back through center. Okay, find some stillness, strong roots, hips high and wide, lengthen the belly. We'll take the weight, shift it to the right, left leg, and kicks back behind, creating a 90-degree. Energetically hamstring hug, heel towards the bum, knee hugs low, hips stay high. We're gonna kick the left foot back as we reach the heart forward into like a plank, stretch long. And then bring it back in. Knee hugs in, hips high and wide. Press down the mat, fill the back. And then kick long like you're kicking a heavy box. Stretch the heart forward, crown reaches, press down the mat. And then bring it in. Let's do 2 more. Press back, reach long, fill the back. And then bring the knee in, hips high and wide, press down the mat. Stretch long, kick. And then bring it in. And carry your heart forward to step your left foot forward. Setting up a dynamic lunge, bend deeply into the knees, slide the hips back and bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. You can check in with your hips here and taking the hands to the hips and giving them a little flip. You can catch your bum, spread your cheeks widen as you begin to extend and lengthen into the left leg. Thinking about rooting your left femur back into the hip socket while keeping the pelvis relatively parallel forward. Yeah, can connect into the toes, drag down back. Extending this back line of the leg with integrity, maintaining a little micro bend in the knee. Hips root back and wide, belly stays long and heart is full. Okay. Lift your heart high, press your arms forward, connect your fists and bring them to the crown of the head. The knees move forward, the hips slide wide, rise, lift, open. Little pulses here, hips slide back, stretch long. Holding the roots as you rise, pressuring upwards into your hands, lift the chin, hold the length. 1 more. Okay, hold that length, chin lifted, throat open. Take a little spring tree pose. Right foot connects to the shin or to the knee or the thigh. We'll keep the right knee narrow, bend into the knee, slide the hips back. Option to stay more static, just holding this slightly curved alignment. Option to find a little root and rise the knees forward, the hips glide back, rise up, open into it. Rising upwards into the pressure of your hands, holding the light fullness of your heart. Strong roots, full heart, rising up. Okay, keep your hands exactly where they are. We're going to sweep the right foot all the way back behind, step back, zigzag. The right foot lands just to the outside edge of the left side of the mat. The knees bend wide, the hips slide back, rise, lift, open up, lengthen into your belly. The hips slide wide, knees wide, lift it up. Big stretches. Last one, knees wide, hips back, big stretch, rise. And then we'll reach the arms forward and wide, eyes towards the top of the mat. Take a little spring cross ankle, right ankle to the top of your left thigh. Option to just keep your arms pressing forward and wide, lifted chin, open throat. Subtle bend into the knee, hips forward, knees forward, hips back. Option to Take your hands to the tops of the thighs. Option to sit deep, slide hips wide, hands to the shin. Resist your heart forward as your hips root back. Anywhere you are, we're holding that length in the belly, that strength in the butt. You can take little pulses here if you like. You're welcome to catch your bum, widen your cheeks. Lift the chin, soften the shoulders, soften the face. Meow, meow, meow. Cool. Lift your heart up high, arms press wide. And cross your right leg all the way over. Squish the knees together, slide the hips back a little bit. We'll take the left arm on top of the right, big hug, catch your shoulders. First stop is here. You can explore just sort of sliding the ribs side to side. You're welcome to take yourself for some little circles. Second stop is finding eagle arms, full bind with the arms. The elbows press ever so subtly forward and up, broaden through the back, and the same thing here. You can slide your ribs side to side, again, little circles. Same, but with a little bit of a deeper bind. Use your right paw, press it down, drag it back to keep connect into your right butt. Holding that length and spaciousness through the belly and then through the back. Okay, one more moment, ending on some length. Open up, release your arms. Right heel is going to kick the bum. Heel press, connect into the engagement of the back of the leg. Catch the outside edge of the ankle, standing legs a little bit bent, knee forward, hips back. Reach your arm forward, lift up the chin. Option to stay balanced. Option to find some rebounds coming down halfway by hinging at the hips and then kicking into the hand to lift back up. So the torso stays relatively stable, non-moving, except that we hinge forward and lift up. Root your left femur back into the hip socket each time you tip forward. Belly stays long, heart full. Next time you come down, we hold. Root your left femur back into the hip socket. With grace and control, release your right ankle. Hug your knee in, slide your hips wide, take your hands down to the mat. Press down the mat, eyes look forward, hitch kicks. Little hops, shifting the weight side to side. You can get a little bit higher, press down the mat, super strong, arms push the ground away, eyes look forward. You can think about shifting with your hips side to side. The legs are just along for the ride. Land back, little pedal of your heels. Couple of pulses forward and back. Shift your hips, wind into the belly. Okay. Externally rotate your right hand, toes and knees twist left. Couple of pulses here, creep deep into that side, open up. And twist to the other side, toes and knees to the right. Hips slide wide, big stretch, reach into that openness. And lower your hip down. Extend your arm long to the top right corner of the mat. Lie onto your side to shift to the back. Move your way back to the center of the mat. Catch your knees by cupping them. Let the knees pull heavy, chin lifted, throat open. You can take some rocks side to side. And take your knees into the air. Reach your arms into the sky. Moving length into the belly. Tap your heels down low as your arms reach back. Keep your chin lifted and then lift it back up. Reach long. Belly stays long. Lift it up. Knees stay bent at that 90 degree. Working to just tone, stretch, and open the belly. Let's do a couple more. And catch your knees. Find happy baby, catching both feet, maybe to the outsides of the feet, knees wide. You can take a little ninja rock chop, kicking each leg long to the side as you rock side to side. Okay, plant your feet down to the mat, chin up, bar your hands, fingertips land, elbows to the sky. We'll just wash the knees side to side, finding length, openness in the belly. And then extend your legs long. Take your hands to your bum, spread your cheeks. And give yourself a big hug, spread the shoulders, broaden the shoulders. Arms out to the side, palms up or down. You can decide, lift their chin, let the neck get soft and open. Take a full deep breath in. Exhale. Let go. And stay here, softening deeper, melting further, denser, heavier into the floor. And connecting back into your breath, connecting into your heartbeat. And breathing in that soft and connected way. Dudes, thanks for practicing with me. I hope you have the most epic day. Namaste.